while we are at this lovely Saturday, and it is our todays that we share what are we doing today, right? So for today, I'm really not doing fashion, and I'm gonna maybe post this out on a Saturday outfit. Another thing that I'm going to do for today, don't look at my lovely sockies that I wear and I'm wearing under this because I just want to be warm. And I was now just telling myself that I just want to be warm today and I don't want to do anything.
And I'm sure that we'll find this and say this is the best.
And we are doing a relationship preparation for what we are going to prepare for next week. The relationship talk, right? Or for the week after that, that would be our relationship talk that we have on a monthly basis. I know last month we have discussed a lot. I've mentioned something interesting last month that is if your partner and if the relationship itself is tasty. And I love my hair and I didn't flatten it lovely around the edges. So just enjoy this hairstyle and that we are saving now. And we're gonna continue with that talk today. That is, what if that relationship that we find ourselves in are not as tasty as you yourself would prefer the relationship to be? What if the relationship journey that we are currently in are not as tasty as we, the people, would prefer the relationship to be? I myself used to love to eat chocolates when I was a little girl. And I used to love to eat a specific type of chocolate. And on my birthday, those years, my papa was already deceased, and my mama got unemployment, and my mama brought me on my birthday a very special chocolate. Because I couldn't always afford the most interesting chocolates. And while our video, I wanted to say everything that is sometimes so odd about the chocolatier. Everything that is sometimes so right about the white that we wear. Everything that should sometimes be so shiny with the yellow that our work photo presents. And everything that is actually us, the people. And while in that, I got an interesting taste. And when the relationship is now really not as tasty as that chocolate, that when my mama got another job and she was working at Powell Hospital, then the chocolate has got and has had its flavors. And when the flavor was now on Easter, thank you for joining our relationship room, what we're preparing for the relationship talk. When on Easter, the chocolate that everyone has made according to their specifications. My mama brought the chocolate for me and my brother Antoine. And when me and my brother Antoine, I really don't agree with how, thank you for joining our room. And when me and my brother Antoine, I really don't agree with how they have made the chocolate, seasoned, then the relationship is not really not as tasty as Ribea Elise would want a relationship to be. And when we are very picky and choosy, and we can be the ugliest people on any day, and we can be the prettiest people on any given day. And when all of those prettinesses and ugliness gets into one room, and it's called a relationship. And the relationship has got its tasty days, and it's got its bitter days. And on the days that you allow yourself to appreciate the tastiness of the relationship, and the relationship becomes bitter, then you exactly know, is the bitterness an odd bitter, or is the bitterness of the relationship a bitter that you can at times be fine with in your relationship? And while in our relationship journey, we learn so much about one another. We find ourselves in relationships. We find what do we prefer in relationships. And we find so much about our journeys that are presented in the relationship. And the relationship self introduces you to your every next journey that awaits you. And while we're going to do this relationship discussion in this month, and we're in the month of July, and we said already to everyone, welcome to July. I know my sister Aunt Jeanette's birthday is in this month, and we are celebrating her, I think, her 48th birthday. And while we are in the relationship journey, and we are appreciating the finest tastes of the relationships. And when my mama brought the chocolate, and the chocolate was not either tasty or it was not tasty, and then Ribea would not really say that, my brother Anton would say, the chocolate, mama, this type of chocolate, who made this chocolate? This chocolate is either, thank you for joining, this chocolate is either a little bit too fatty and oily, or the chocolate is either a little bit not right, or the chocolate is accurately right according to every type of chocolate that I was introduced to when I was a little girl. I was introduced to the chomp chocolate that had a yellow paper, right? And the chomp chocolate was now only what Ribea Elise could afford when I was really not having money. And it was the cheapest chocolate, but it was chocolate itself. And when I was introduced to the chomp, and the chomp was always available in the stores, and I could always get the chomp, and the chomp was always there, and every time I just craved for the best chocolate, and then the chomp, and I could afford the chomp, then the chomp would now be that chocolate. But it was not my favorite, because I would even wait for times when I had money so that I can buy a proper chocolate while I was a little girl. And when I bought the Tex chocolate, the next chocolate that I prefer was a Tex. It's almost like my AWOKH profile photo. And it was a Tex chocolate. And the Tex has got caramel inside, and it's got chocolate outside. It's not too harsh in its chocolate flavor. It's very light in its flavor, and it's very, very full of every part of the Ribea Elise chocolatier moment. And when I had my favorite chocolatiers, and I had my choice of those chocolates, and I would allow myself to really appreciate the chocolateness of the chocolate, then such is a relationship journey for me. Not specific, but according to me, Ribea Elise. I'm not specific on the husband should be this, and the husband should be that, and the husband should have this, and the husband should have that, and the boyfriend should have this and that. It is the specificness of the journey itself. A journey that introduces itself to you, the person, however it wants to introduce itself. And y'all can all say hi on our post, everyone. If y'all have joined our room, say hi. Thank you for someone that have already said a post, that have already said as a post. We're gonna read all of those messages this now. Thank you for joining. We are by Relationship Saturdays. It is our today's. What are we doing today? What do we want to do today? And where are we at in our seasons? And while our relationship journey has got its own flavors, and you yourself has to learn that the relationship is not only you next to that partner. It's now not only you in a relationship. It's now not only y'all together. It's now not only the excitement that everyone can look in on when they look at a boat's perfect photo. That Ribea Elise has to say that that's not really me on the glossiest Sinus day, and even on any other day. And you even have to explain that sometimes to people. And when the relationships sometimes have to be introducing itself so much, then you yourself has the right to be a little bit specific, a little bit picky and choosy, a little bit how decided you are about the relationship journey itself, because it becomes part of your life journey. It becomes part of the next decision that you're gonna make, and that you're gonna have to choose another relationship partner. It becomes part of a life decision and a life choice, and it's everything, and it becomes everything new seasons. And that is why we mentioned it in one of our videos that we started with our Saturdays. And our today's discussions that there is that if the relationship and if the partner next to you, that is now not for me a AWOKH photo, but that is now the relationship partner, if it's now really not tasty anymore, then you with your chocolate here has got a right to be picky and to be choosy. You have a right as a human being to decide your own journey, to decide what you want for yourself in that season, because it's everything new seasons. It's you. I write on my Instagram and I sign it up and I say, and if this photo doesn't look like me, this is signed up Ribea Elise. It's everything Ribea Elise seasons. And if the photo has the edit on of someone else, it means a lot when a photo has the edit on of someone else, and when it's now really you in that photo, and when you really now don't want edits on your photos. But when it's signed off everything new seasons, then you acknowledge yourself in everything that you present about that season. And such is the relationship journey itself. Such is the chocolatier moment of the relationship. Such is the chocolate that you choose to have on any given day, and the chocolate that is just there for you to enjoy on any given day. And when the relationship becomes odd, and you realize like the Trump chocolate was now there because it wasn't there. And the Trump was even special in its taste, because the Trump introduces me to how lightly I love a chocolate taste. I love a dark chocolate. I love every part of the different chocolate types. But how picky and choosy am I when I was introduced to the Trump chocolate? The Trump chocolate introduced me to the lightness, the specific taste of the chocolate. The Trump chocolate had a caramel inside of it, right? So the thick chocolate had a crispy caramel in it. A crisp in, right? It's almost like a peppermint crisp, but it is a normal a caramel crisp. The Trump chocolate has specific caramel in it. And the specific caramel is now not like the can of caramel treat that we buy at the store. There is no specific caramel. Not everyone gets specific caramel right. We love on our Christmas days a Christmas pudding that is a peppermint tart. And when the caramel treat are mixed very nicely together with the peppermint flavor, together with your cream, and you get the love out of that peppermint tart. And you get the love in the caramel flavor of the peppermint tart. And you get the love in the peppermint. There is a dash of peppermint in the peppermint tart. Then that's now exactly a Ribea Elise tasty relationship. A tasty season. And that is when you know your peppermint tart. And you love a good peppermint tart on a Christmas day. And you love every taste of it. And you love the fresh grated chocolate over the caramel tart, over the peppermint tart, inside the peppermint tart, together with a combination of the caramel treat, together with a combination of the peppermint itself. There is now not a can of pot of milk peppermint that you buy, but that is now exactly the peppermint chocolate that you buy, and out of that chocolate you get everything of the peppermint tart. And if you get it specific right, then that is the tastiest relationship season and the tastiest relationship journey that you can ever introduce yourself to. It is not that you are specific about everything in your house and everything that revolves around you, the person. It is that with certain things you decide to hold on to that, and you decide to say specific about that. I'm Ribea Elise that can introduce myself in all of these lovely colors. I'm Ribea Elise that can introduce myself in all of these lovely flavors. I'm Ribea Elise that can introduce myself in the most glossiest AWOKH photo, in the most appreciated self photo that we get. But when I'm not really specific, and when I'm all over the place, like talking all over the place, and like being specific, then I'm not really holding on to that little bit of specificness about it. So one thing for us to introduce everything in bulk that we want to introduce to the international world. Thank you for joining our room. Stay in the room. We're doing relationship talks. It's one thing to introduce our relationship in its completeness to the international world. And it's another thing to hold on to some specificnesses about our relationships. It's one thing if we tell ourselves that our relationship journey is now everything television, everything introduction to the international world. And it's another thing if we become very specific about the tastiness of the relationship. Because once we allow our relationship to be introduced in such a way, and the international world, whole world gets a grab of that relationship, then what is it that the relationship couples hold on to? This is one thing that I learned a lot from my sister and from my marriage partner and from their family. It is that they decide to hold on to what they decide to hold on to. They can introduce, my sister could introduce fashion, she could introduce everything about herself to the international world. But they were very decided on what they want to really hold on to about themselves. Otherwise, the international world can just give their opinion, and the opinion can just be an international opinion. And once you allow yourself in a relationship to say that, you know what, it is nice to have a glossy social media relationship. It is nice to say everything that we do with the international world. It is nice for a relationship to educate everyone in our communities and relationships. But it's another thing for us to hold on to this lovely journey because it becomes our life journey itself. It becomes a journey of partners, relations of partners, in marriage, in relationships, in familyness together. It becomes not only a journey today, but it becomes a generational introduction of relationship journeys. And how decided we are to be picky and choosy about what we say about ourselves. Thank you for joining our room. Say hi and ask questions if you want to. I'm going to now go and make a cup of tea while y'all can type a few questions while we're busy. It's one thing for us to say a lot. Y'all going to love our shoes. We're wearing socks with this shoe. It's very nice. And it's very raining. It's already raining again. It's one thing for us to say everything that we want to about our relationships. And it's another thing for us to be decided to hold on to something that is everything new seasons. And that is quickly for a little bit of cup of tea that I'm going to make, and then we're going to continue with this relationship talk. Share your questions, everyone. Feel open to share some questions.
Well, individuality often complicates things. Rainbow gives you wings.
Oh, who's that?
It's not right to see.
So we get through everything underneath the tent. Now there's more in the front, and the family now needs to go through two massive piles and make decisions because the rest of the day we need to focus on all the other rooms. Family members, have at it, okay? This is trash. Handing this to y'all. Trash. This whole has to go. Destiny's doing well. The rest of the family's doing well. This definitely speaks to how this family is getting together, making decisions. Do you want to keep the photo album thing? The initiative was there. This family wants this.
Lovely, everyone.
All that trash, yeah.
Lovely. And while we are sharing on our relations, it's good to give a lot of characters. While we are sharing on a relationship journey, and while we are introducing our relationship journey, and while everyone else wants to be deciding on what they want to listen to, and everyone else want to be deciding on what they want you to say about the relations and educations that you see. We are very open-minded to also in everything that we educate on our relationship journey, to allow ourselves to hold on to self, to hold on to some specificnesses about you, some specifications, not specifications like a vacation, not a vacation that you leave and that you are now not holding on to that vacation or journey. I've been introduced to this house, and this house is getting a little bit more colder, not cold by the coldness of the weather necessarily, but coldness by drawing my attention to so much other things other than the lovely journey that the house are introducing. My attention has so much shifted, not because of television, no. Not because of what I watch on television, no. Because of so much other communications that are attracting your attention the whole time. My journey has been a full-on 40-year journey. I have had full unemployment in human resources, full unemployment in when I was a bartender, full unworking hours. I have had a complete 4-0 employment journey. And when I decide to want to only focus on my business, and I want my business to be fine financially, and I want to gain the funds for that, because such is such a complete 40-year journey, an employment only journey, and that becomes exactly the birth womb of another journey. And because everything that we do in life takes hands, relationship partners often say, are you employed? Because everything we do takes hands, the one with the other. Everything that we do in the house becomes 1 + 1 + 1 + 1. And while we're in a generation that are so overworked, so exhausted, so much working hours, 7 days in a week, and they find themselves 5 days employed in the office. 5 days of the week employed out of 7 days. The 4-0 to me means a lot. My AWOKH business is now not only meaning that because of anything now, because my journey exactly has birthed the business. And when the Chinese government really has the information of my journey that has birthed the business, and of my journey that was now not only Ribea being employed as a bartender, Ribea working at Nibblewitz, Ribea working at Boland, Ribea working at Sales Hire, Ribea working at Menzies Aviation Airport, Ribea working at Excess Able, Ribea working at Philip Morris International Tobacco, Ribea working at Stanford Plaza Hotel, Ribea working at Argenta, at the Ruputo Rima. It's a complete birthing a business journey for Ribea Elise. For my mama Anna Philander, Mama Universe woman. And it stands next in line with the relationship journey because it's everything me seasons. It's everything my mama's world. And when I have to educate the international world on how to find face, and I'm not a person that works fast-paced. We were working at Stanford Plaza, and we were the human resource team, and in came the Chinese woman, and her name was Michelle. And Michelle had my camel coat, the same camel coat that I've got on. And that I always used to travel with it. When I go on vacations, then I always wear that camel coat. And Michelle came all the way from China. In came Nikita's now, they said, human resources manager at Hilton Hotel. And Nikita came and was the recruiter. And I was at Stanford Plaza before that. And it's now everything Regal Plaza Hotel that I was called to 2004. That is now my birthroom of my business AWOKH self. And we came in and the office is compact and it's just a little office here. And I tried to look around and I tried to find feet. And Michelle comes in and Michelle takes the computer and she's very fast-paced on the computer and I look around and I say, interesting. Nikita come and Nikita also loves to dress up and Nikita was a banker and Nikita worked on her own pace and she also loves to do her own thing. Here comes Ribea Elise. The office looks compared to what is now really in this picture. What is now this Mona Lisa that I'm being introduced to about myself in this human resources advisory role. And specific was there a lot happening at Stanford Plaza. A lot that was part of my 2004 Regal Plaza Hotel journey. And no one is ever dumb in every process of business. And I get into that environment and I learned, but I'm now really a person that can really now be on a pace and that can really now really be in my currentness of my season. And while I'm at Stanford Plaza, I'm at the most relaxedness of my seasons. Because Auckland, New Zealand to me was now the most relaxedness, the most comfortness of introducing an AWOKH business. And Mama Universe has birthed Auckland, New Zealand for it. And I found myself in Auckland, New Zealand. And the colors looks perfect. And the house has been built perfect. And everything about the season becomes producing itself in its own journey. And when your relationship stands next to that, and a lot about the season echoes. And some people can find pace with Ribea Elise because Ribea is not so fast-paced. This Ribea Elise, I'm not that fast-paced. But the question is not how fast you can work on a computer. The question is not how well you can present yourself when Nikita was not dressed up. The question is not, is Ribea's hair now the perfect hair in the office? The question is, what is the season wombing, everyone? Why are we in this office for? I remember Michelle saying, oh, but the office is still full and she's compact, and then she packed her bags and she now really left the office. For me, Ribea, that was now everything birthing Ribea in this journey. I don't often tend to do what someone else had decided to do. I always allow myself to introduce myself in its own pace, in its own season. And when a relationship requires so much acknowledgement, so much specificness, and it's not that we are harsh or we are angry or we are rude type of a woman. It is that this is Ribea Elise the person. It is that this is the house that I'm currently at. It is that is a Vogue photo. Some New Zealand television programs get it so specific right. America sends their programs, they get it sometimes accurately right. And they sometimes hold on to a little bit of information about Ribea Elise, about Mama Anna Philander's journey. about a Mama Anna Philander's Mama Universe birthday. Europe sends their videos and they design the amazing motor vehicles, and it stands lovely next to my Appreciate Self photo. And the television is directly next to the photo, and I look at it in the artness of that portrait that's not there. I find picture and pace in everything about it. And when everything about that, I yet so specific, introducing itself, womb being in its own way. Everything that we do at wombs, at births, everything that we do on earth wombs. How we decide and about the wombing journey. There is life for a human being on this earth. There is a relationship on this earth. There is two relationship partners next to one another. That becomes a walking journey. There is the wombing of everything that we do. That produces itself in its season. That produces the baby itself. And that produces the Mama Universe of Mama Anna Finland, the Mama Universe. And while we are introduced to so much, and it's not scientific knowledge, and everyone has found peace around it, and then such a relationship can either be tasty, or it can either be a little bit odd, to be Elise would say. When it becomes a little bit odd in a relationship, then we don't often tend to run off from such a house that has been built specific according to Mama Anna Philander, Mama Universe's acknowledgement of Ribea, the person in this house. Then where Mama Universe are at in the different parts of the universe, then Ribea doesn't rush out because everyone else now has learned to distance themselves from what are sometimes the wombing of a journey. I have not allowed myself to be the Ribea that rushes out on a pace that is someone else's pace. If the relationship and if the house requires my attention somewhere, if someone else requires my attention, then by all perfect means. By all means, I say to everyone that has understand the relationship in a different way on this journey. But because of my specific chocolatier taste, I'm very specific to say that the universe that has sent the AWOKH photo, a universe that has birthed Appreciate Self photo, that is everything you, that can present itself in its own season and its own time. That birth is the baby Mama Anna Philander, Mama Universe. A universe that wombs itself in its own journey, whatever be it is. Specific according to acknowledging my Mama Anna, yes, my Papa, yes, our birth womb, acknowledging everything through seasons. And when I can be, thank you for joining, please play and like on our videos. When I can be specific about everything new seasons. When I can be specific about that relationship taste, that when it's tasty and when it's next to you, and then it really has to produce in the womb in its way, and that wombing becomes a generational journey. And when wombing becomes a generational journey, then opportunity choice for me, Ribea, Elise, are very specific. In all that Ribea, Elise have introduced on any given day, and then I'm very specific about what I decide to hold on to and what I decide to let go and what I decide to have its own pace. About, it is one thing for me to say that I'm now really Ribea all over the place, the way that some photos on that Instagram page are looking, and the way that the design of it are looking. And it's another thing to say that I'm not Ribea, Elise, holding on to some specificness about you. And when you hold on to some specificness about you, you find pace in that. You find pace in what you decide to to hold on to about that tasty relationship journey. It should be tasty. It's not a wine tour. It's not Nederburg wines. I'm introduced to every part of my Mama Anna Philander's farm upbringing. My Mama Anna Philander's every lifestyle was farm lifestyle. My Mama Anna Philander then lived next to the wineries. And everything about it that is now the baby bird. And while everything about me becomes tasty, then that's a topic. And it becomes very tasty to say that this black Ribea Elise can be very specific. It really becomes very interesting and tasty. Black. People call it black and white. And it most looks like black. It's chocolatier black. But it can be very, very tasty. Very specific. And if all of us can just be so specific, I'm checking on what's on television, so specific on what we do, and then the way we find ourselves at, and then how we find place. Look at how fast my mobile phone battery is going. If we so easily can find place on what we do, and then where we find ourselves at in relationships. And the relationships are not so tasty anymore. Say hi when you all enter the room, and if you all are in the room, thank you everyone. We're gonna read and give a comment if you want to. Thank you. And if the relationship is now not tasty anymore, then we can all be decided on how we decide to give our opinion about us and about our journeys. From where Mama Universe are at in these different parts of the womb of the universe. We are the human beings on earth. For someone else to decide for you, and for someone else to chase your day. It's now really that you that's gonna have to know your opportunity choice in order to make a decision like Ribea Elise. Such a decision does not come easy. A decision to decide, to listen to when your complete season has been introduced to you at such a house that has birthed everything your seasons. Let's quickly check all of those lovely highs and good days, and let's quickly check what we have. Thank you. The mic about man. No, we can't do that. Any other? Hi, everyone. Thank you. Any other questions? Sorry for having to read it so, because I really now couldn't bring the camera closer. Yeah, so that's where we are at, everyone. What our todays and our Saturdays, and what are we doing for this Saturday? Another thing. Order our AWOKH products on AWOKH@outlook.com. Send me an email and I will pop your details through on what I have available on AWOKH products. And order those products. It's lovely goodies. It's full of love, full of kindness, full of everything new seasons of Ribea Elise. Order our AWOKH hoodies, our AWOKH t-shirts actually. And we can do the printed hoodie. If you put those orders through, we do our AWOKH profile photo on the order, or you can prefer the preset self photo on that with a motivational word of me, Ribea Elise. And that is everything that we have sometimes mentioned. That is really that what we want to decide to acknowledge ourselves along with what everyone else is saying about us. So when we order a motivational t-shirt from AWOKH that has got that motivational wording on, it is not necessarily what Ribea Elise is saying, but what we as human beings acknowledges about ourselves that are sometimes introduced through someone else, right? And that is that we sometimes have to support one another. We sometimes have to allow ourselves to listen to what does such a journey say about you, the person. What does a Ribea Elise season and a Ribea Elise journey say about you, the person. And that is how specific we can be about our seasons. Thank you everyone for saying hi. And thank you everyone for joining the room. And thank you everyone for listening in to everything that we have to say about our relationship seasons. Join in for this every Saturday around about 12 p.m. Today we start at 12:30 p.m., but that is also specific, perfect, according to everything in these seasons. Have an interesting AWOKH journey with us.